let's start it off in America, especially with a particular trial that has taken some of the headlines.
Yes.
Why are you saluting with but also pew pew? What's...
Because this trial is going to be pew pew. Have you heard of Sam Bankman-Fried? That's a yes. Okay, that's definitely a yes.
Is this the guy
crazy hair.
with the crypto?
Yes,
that
the crypto guy. The crypto guy.
Okay. So it's vaguely familiar because when you're with somebody, when you live with
that's
somebody,
a crypto, bro.
Okay,
it's
here
going
we go.
up. We got Dogecoin. You put all your money in Dogecoin.
Hodl. Do we still say that? Hodl? I don't know.
Shiba coin.
But when you live with somebody who is into this type of stuff.
Making capitalism, making money. Yes.
Here we go. And you hear these random dudes that, it's just the bros be frothing over, be like, that's who I want to be. I want to be somebody.
The ladies were frothing over.
I want to be somebody who's corrupt and and lying to the good people.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
I don't know.
You know what? There's just a lot of unseen anger management issues there that we obviously need to unpack in a different episode of a podcast. But let's talk.
I'm not wrong though, right?
Let's talk about.
You're not wrong.
Okay, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Why is he gaslighting me, guys? What's going on? I don't know.
So the trial for Sam Bankman-Fried started this week, and this is going to be up there in terms of for business fraud, probably one of the biggest trials we've ever seen. In a while. Okay, so
bad people.
So just to zoom back,
anger management.
Just to zoom back and recount what's exactly happened. So who is Sam Bankman-Fried? Well, he is the former CEO and owner of crypto exchange FTX. In 2022, FTX went into bankruptcies after users went on a tear, withdrawing their funds after information was released about shady dealings in their balance sheets. And here we go, hundreds of millions of dollars were lost by people, consumers, and I don't know if you recall back in the day, it was only last year, FTX was huge. They had Tom Brady, they had Shaquille O'Neal, they had Steph Curry. Do you recall seeing some of those ads? In Super Bowl, they had that Super Bowl ad.
I just remember for some stupid reason, the Matt Damon one is in my head.
Yeah, but sorry, the Matt Damon.
That's all I remember.
I was about to say, yeah. But I know there's been quite an increase
favors
of
the brave.
What a tagline! I'm just thinking it's Matt Damon.
Marketing. Yeah. I was like,
But yeah, there has been.
Sorry,
an
I knew this was. Matt Damon was actually Crypto.com, not FTX.
Yeah, well, Crypto.com is still around, right? Because it is. They do UFC. See, look. My brain has useless information because of this man.
Let's get back. Let's zone back. I think FTX at the time was, I think, the second biggest exchange, cryptocurrency exchange. And the big thing about this is they advertised in the Super Bowl. They had the celebrities that I mentioned there, and a lot of consumers, we're talking a lot, lost their money. We're talking in excess of millions. So people are really seething that they've lost this amount of money. And because Sam Bankman-Fried last year during the whole process, or before obviously it went bankrupt, was the darling of the crypto world. And when crypto was pumping, he was a success story. And the interesting thing about the character of Sam Bankman-Fried is he preached altruism. So he was kind of like a Robin Hood, where he was obviously pro-capitalism, but was outwardly saying that he was doing these things to give money back to the poor or the less needy, right?
Smells kind of fishy already.
Anyway,
bold claim.
It's like that nice guy facade thing where it's I'm a good guy. What are you talking about? There's underlying no bueno-ness there.
Well, it's interesting. I showed you an interview about Sam Bankman-Fried, when we were researching on this. And this was before all the allegations and all the bankruptcy for FTX. And we could see when he was talking about it, he was very nervous, right? He had his legs were shaking and stuff like that. And
the signs were there, guys.
Well, we kind of had a chat, and I said that he presents as a quirky looking dude, right? He's not the most polished, well kept dude that you'd think, right? When you think of businessmen, right?
It's like he never grew out of his high school. No, not even. What's their primary school equivalent in the
puberty?
Elementary
or middle school.
Yeah. Big bright red shirt.
Oh, yeah, who doesn't love a bright red shirt?
Socks up for days, and I think it was New Balances, and I know the New
Balances are in. Okay,
I know New Balance is in, but It's just you need to have a certain riz to be able to pull off the New Balance look.
I will say his riz was he was making millions of dollars for himself and his clients. It really doesn't matter. But anyway, let's zoom back. We're now in the trial. And because so many people have lost a lot of money, people are out for blood. And I think when you think about a trial case, especially in the US, this is as high profile as it gets, right? And you think about the jury selection, there's almost... How can juries not be tampered when this guy's face has been plastered everywhere and there's such strong feelings towards him, right? And we're going to go through, like, think of, I don't know, Boston Legal, your most famous, like...
What a show.
I'm just thinking, think of, like, The Practice. Whatever, you're going to go back to Suits. But this is to corporate law. But think of the scenes there. This is going to be real life because the amount of publicity and press... And I don't know how long this is going to extend at. But again, when you think of the government, I mean, the legal system is going to make like an example of him for sure. People have lost so much money, and like not just billionaires, like Joe Blows. I know people within my network that have lost money.
Everyday people just aspiring to be in the game, money. Right? Yeah.
And the interesting thing is the celebrities have also gotten sued. The Shaquille O'Neals and the Tom Brady's, and these are big these are not small people, right?
Yeah.
There's actually small groups that are suing the celebrities for obviously misinformation and all that, because they know that to get the money from FTX might be an impossible task. And these are the stakes there. And I think it's going to be fascinating there because he's basically walking into a trial where I think the likelihood of him getting any sort of leniency is just 0 to none.
Totally stacked against him.
It's totally stacked against him. I mean, the interesting thing is, like what they're going to try and decide and decipher is whether this was fraud on a massive, deliberate scale or whether it was just mismanagement of funds, effectively. So I think it's stacked against him. And as we record this, I think we're the 3rd or 4th day in, and he's had people testify against him, people that have worked with him. So it's not looking good for him. Interestingly enough, there have been charges that have not been brought in the legal proceedings where he actually used money, and the money that we're talking about, just to put it out there, for those who don't understand cryptocurrency and like, I'm losing the word, in exchange, users invest their money, think of it not as a bank, but they put their money to trade. So what needs to happen if it's regulated properly is that money that a user puts should not be touched at all, right? The only element of the money that's used is when a trade is triggered, right? So what was happening is Sam Bankman-Fried was using that money. So what happened is when consumers started, there's a very, like, it's much
a top level,
it's much more multi-layered than this. But once they found out that dodgy things were happening, they all withdraw their money at the same time. And because this money didn't exist, what happened was called a bank run. And a bank run happens, and this can happen to an actual bank as well, when people take their money out at the same time, and because you don't have the money, you're illiquid, you're bankrupt, because they had it in assets, which was the FTT token. I'm not going to go into the specifics. There are other channels that can do a much better job explaining that. So the biggest thing that he is going to try and explain is that this was just negligence, which even if you say it's negligence or my practices of risk management weren't good, you're still stuffed.
It's like, I did bad, but it wasn't that bad.
But if it's outright fraud, which is the other thing, then it goes to a different level. And I think the punishments are going to be aligned accordingly. So I think, look, this is fascinating. Obviously, we'll be following it because the other thing as well, and I talk about the whole Hollywood-esque reason for this, because I don't know how long it's going to go. They're going to drag it out. But because he has made donations to parties as well, there are murmurings. Not that these parties are going to go and try and help, but they're going to release different sort of information within the pool there, which is one just like ridiculous element if you think about it, because he's not actually getting charged for that, which he should be charged for that. There's a legal reason why. I don't understand, so I'm not going to try and explain it. That's number one. Number two, he's actually going to try and testify on the stand, right? So why that's a big deal, I don't know if you recall the legal shows, testifying on the stand when you are one prosecuted is actually a no-no. They don't want you to...
I'm thinking of all of those scenes where there's like, I don't think this is a good idea. But this is my one and only chance.
It's a real thing because if you think about it, you've seen the guy.
Yeah.
You've seen how he presents. Again,
there's so much evidence in all the media that he's done to present, and it's just like
again
when you're trying to figure out your alibi or whatever it is, and you've got all these possible conflicting proof points. Yeah.
It's gonna be fascinating.
He's gonna be shaking his leg a lot. That's what everyone needs to watch for.
What does it matter? Because I can't remember. Like I don't know how it's gonna look. Like are they gonna see his legs?
No, they won't. Because he'll be on the thing, but maybe they'll bug it. Maybe like here I am. Like here we go.
Well, what? Zoom cam.
Yeah.
You hear the audio of the shaking leg.
Yeah, get it behind the scenes. Yeah, instead of looking for a ghost, something, it's like there was a rustling in the. in the midst.
Can I say something? In 5 years' time, even less than that, this movie is going to be made. It has to be made.
Okay, who's going to play?
I got it.
Who's going to play the guy?
Leonardo DiCaprio. He's already played Wolf of Wall Street. He just needs to put on weight. I don't know how he's going to get the hair. Like we used. Forget. Okay,
it's curly.
Oh, I've got it. Superbad.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill looks like him. Jonah Hill's hair can look like him.
Well, he's shaved it now and he's blonde and stuff
and he's skinnier.
If you have the curls, if he's been fat before, he can get there.
Do you think that would be a wise choice for him considering the backlash that he's gotten recently too?
What backlash has Jonah Hill got?
Basically, he's just
there are allegations.
Yeah, gaslighting.
Well, you know what?
Boyfriend.
Well, you know what? Then
like
he'll get into character. He'll get into character.
Wow.
It'll kind of work. It'll kind of work. Method acting. Or Shia LaBeouf is crazy enough to be Sam Bankman-Fried.
I guess.
Could work.
I just want it to be somebody that's like
what? Like not well known?
No, well known, but like they're a good one. They're a good one, right? Like Leo's too easy.
I think Leo is good because he did such a good job.
But also, how old is this guy?
This guy's 31.
Okay, nah.
Does he look 31 to you?
Leo's too old for that now.
It doesn't matter.
Nah,
CGI.
Too old.
All right, that's a different thing.
Touching onto a different topic altogether.
No, but like this is interesting. This is generally going to be interesting. And again, when you think of,
it will be Timothée Chalamet.
The hell's that?
It will.
Yeah, if he just has to make his hair more big.
It will be Timothée Chalamet. Watch.
I'm trying to find out.
Watch.
Why? Because of the hair. I'm sorry, he's too pretty. He can't hide those.
Yeah, but you gotta make it like it's
not gonna have it.
To make for people to
I think Jonah Hill is in the sweet spot. Anyway, this is gonna be fascinating just to follow this sort of trial. Again, when you think about like a trial like that, the onus a jury can find people guilty just by looking at them and not liking the look of them, right? Like what I mean is
you could all of your like, even though you're supposed to base it on all evidence and all what has been presented, surely there's some unconscious bias there, and it's so if the jury that's been selected has been predisposed to or at least know a little bit about the guy, right? It'd be
hard. It almost makes me feel in cases that are so high profile and so charged, I would be fascinated to see what is the percentage of like not guilties that come out of it, because it's like it feels like it's so lean towards one angle. You know what I mean?
The odds are stacked against.
Like like there's nothing to be stacked against. They've lost millions of dollars for like consumers, right? So
but even for like it's that little percentage that could be there. It's like. Oh, no, definitely not, obviously. But,
It's fascinating. We'll definitely be looking. And I think the other thing is, like, for a lot of people that, unless you lost a ton load of money, and there are people that lost, like, millions, in the millions, like, at an individual sort of level, a lot of people have kind of tried to forget about it. That loss. Like, it's triggering.
It's trauma.
It's so triggering.
It's 100% trauma.
So when you hear it's coming back up, it brings these...
It will only incite what you called me to be anger management, which makes no bloody sense. I'm gonna put that right back in your face again. But real. Yeah, that's real anger.
It's gonna be interesting. We'll see. Not guilty, mate. Sorry, guilty.
This guy.